Welcome to the Raven Space on YouTube. My name is Jason, and this is Raven Space Daily, where we talk about Baltimore Ravens news every single weekday. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I know there has been a lack of videos. I'm encountering some problems with my computer still. Also have stuff with work popping up and different things like that. I'm sorry. They'll be back. They'll be consistent. I promise you. Today is the first day of more consistency and more videos. So please, thank you guys so much for sticking with me. We have some great topics today. Please subscribe to the Raven Space on YouTube for the best Baltimore Ravens content on the internet. Now, let's look at our topics for the day. We're going to talk about the Ravens Pro Bowlers. We're going to talk about some snubs. We're going to talk about the most likely playoff matchup for the Baltimore Ravens. And then, like we do at the end of every episode, you guys can get involved with the mailbag and the comment of the day. So let's get into our first topic. The Pro Bowl selection was named, and the Baltimore Ravens have 3 Pro Bowlers, and these are Terrell Suggs, C.J. Mosley, and Eric Weddle. I want to talk about 2 in particular because I really do think that they're important, and it just shows where the Ravens are and where the NFL cognoscente is as well. So first things first, let's talk about Eric Weddle. Eric Weddle deserved to make the Pro Bowl. Congratulations. He's the boring one, so we're not going to talk about him. The 2 that aren't boring is Terrell Suggs and C.J. Mosley. Terrell Suggs first because Terrell Suggs is an old man, right? But he's still playing at a high level. It's nice that fans see that. It's nice that NFL players see that. It's nice that NFL people who get the vote see that. So I was super excited about that because, you know, he deserves it. If this is his last season, which I do not think it will be, it's going to be a great send-off season for Terrell Suggs. Next player, I want to talk about C.J. Mosley because I was worried that he was not going to make the Pro Bowl simply because this has not been a very explosive year for C.J. Mosley. And what I mean by explosive, Pro Bowlers often are people who make the biggest plays, right? When you see a snub, they're, you know, a reliable player, but really doesn't get, you know, those big giant plays. And I thought C.J. Mosley had that type of year. He does lead the league in tackles. So I think that got him votes from people who knew the NFL. But some fans who, you know, most fans go pick a player and then they don't care about the other players, right? So, for example, if you're a Baltimore Ravens fan, when you do middle linebacker, you pick C.J. Mosley, and then there's no one else on your team to pick from. So you pick from, you know, whoever's name you heard the most this year, and that's what happens. And the quarterback is easy because we all know the great quarterbacks. But if you're a fan and you vote for defensive tackle, I guarantee you're going to vote for Brandon Williams, and then whichever defensive tackle has the biggest name, that's your next vote. And so that's why I was worried about C.J. Mosley because he doesn't have the biggest name at a middle linebacker, and I really thought fans were going to overlook him. They did not, so I'm super excited about that. So congrats, C.J. Mosley. 3 Pro Bowlers. I mean, I guess, you know, Jimmy Smith was going to be a Pro Bowler, maybe got injured. I don't know if they took out the injuries from this, but you know, I don't really see any other Pro Bowlers on the Ravens except for these players here. Some people will say Alex Collins. No, he's not a top 3 running back in the AFC, so he just can't be it. I can give you 3 off the top of my head right now: Le'Veon Bell, LaShawn McCoy, and Kareem Hunt, who deserve it over him. So, sorry, people who wanted him, but he's not the top 3 running back in the AFC. Now we're going to go on to the next topic. And this topic talks about the biggest Pro Bowl snubs. And Justin Tucker and Sam Cook are giant snubs. And you guys may be surprised when I say this, but Sam Cook is the biggest snub I've ever seen. And it's kind of crazy. I think right now, if you want to talk about greatest punters of all time, you have to throw his name in there. And I think not only is he one of the greatest punters of all time right now, he's having one of the best seasons he's ever had. Last game, he had literally 4 perfect kicks. A couple of games ago, even though the call was called a touchback, it literally was the best punt I've ever seen. And so I thought he was like a giant snub. Now, Justin Tucker A lot of people are going to say he's a snub, and he is. But the person that was voted in, I know you guys are going to hate me for this, Boswell is having a more impactful season. Why do I say that, right? I just told you guys with CJ Mosley. Sometimes it's not about the most consistent or the most talented player, but what player is making the biggest plays, right? And this year, it is without a doubt, Boswell, the Steelers kicker, is making bigger plays than Justin Tucker. Boswell, literally in his last 5 games, hit 4 game winners. That is a true statement. In his last 5 games, he hit 4 game winners. So, and I mean, he's playing so well. People are starting to say that the Killer Bees, who are the Steelers' best offensive stars, they're adding a 4th B and adding Boswell. He's having a better impact season. His numbers may not be better. He may not have the more field goals or a higher field goal percentage. But again, when people are voting, you have to understand that it's not only talent, it's also popularity. And when you hit 4 field goals to win games, and 3 of those field goals are in prime time, you're going to win that vote. And that's just the way life is. So sorry about that. I think Cook should have made it in regardless. I have no idea why he's not making it in. But Tucker, I can see fans getting caught up in the splash, the explosive plays that Boswell's making this season. Now we're going to move to the third topic of the day. And the Ravens have a 67% chance to go play the Chiefs in the playoffs. It is the highest percentage of any playoff matchup this year. So regardless of the team, regardless of whatever, this is the highest chance of happening. Now, in order for this to happen, of course, the Ravens have to win out. I feel confident that they will win out. So I think we're going to be in the playoffs. And honestly, I think this is the best matchup the Ravens can get. I say that because even though the Chiefs have a lot of talent, the Ravens have a great defense that can, battle the Chiefs' offense, right? And so let's say I'm thinking that they neutralize each other. The issue with the other teams that we could have played, which is going to be Jacksonville, that's the other team that the Ravens could have played, is that I truly do think Jacksonville's defense is too good for our offense to beat. I don't think Kansas City's defense is too good for our offense to beat. So I think if we want to score points, which you have to do to win games, I think this is the best matchup we can get. Now, of course, if something happens to the Patriots or the Steelers and they fall down, I would rather take Kansas City than those 2 teams. And then with the defense of Jacksonville right now, and honestly, the way they laid that whoop up on us early in the season, I would love to have Kansas City because I think it's a game that we can win. Kansas City doesn't have a big home field advantage either. The Ravens have been to Kansas City before and won big games. So this is a game that I want to have versus any of the other options. So let me know in the comments below. Do you like the Ravens at Kansas City more or the Ravens at the Jacksonville Jaguars? Let me know in the comments below. And now we're going to go to the mailbag question of the day. This question is brought to you guys by our Raven Space Patreon and our patrons. It's a membership service where you guys can help support us. And in return, we give you guys some great things. So please check it out in the description below. And this question comes from Lorik. I'm going to say Lorik G because I cannot pronounce that last name. And his question is, where's the loyalty for Jimmy Smith? He's been with us the longest, man. Thank you so much for your question, Lorik. And this basically goes to the mailbag episode that I had. And I said that if I was a GM, I would consider trading Jimmy Smith. And people got upset about that. And people are, saying, hey, man, not only he's the most talented, he's been with us the longest. So the most talented angle, I'll say like this. That is true. I'm not going to argue that. But is he the most valuable? Right? Is he right? It's not about, when and I'm a financial analyst that's my day job for you guys who've been wondering. I'm going to let you go. I'm a financial analyst. And I often have to make decisions on what is more valuable. And value isn't just what is better, right? What's the highest price? That's not what value means. But for that price, how much do you get? Jimmy Smith's high price and his inability to play full seasons means we're paying like a high-priced cornerback. So we're paying, you know, big money for a player that only plays 10 games a season, right? So if it was the other way around, not the other way around, but let's say in this scenario, Jimmy Smith, we paid him the same amount of money, but then after the week 12, he just said, I'm not going to play anymore. I'll see you guys next season. You guys will say, get him out of here, right? And that's how you have to think about it. You know, the value isn't there right now. If he played a full season, maybe. He's having a great season. But again, when the value isn't there and, you know, he still gets beat by the best players, like if he never got beat by anyone, okay, sure. But when, you know, in the playoffs, you go against, you know, the top receivers in the league. And that's just the truth about it. And if, you know, if the Texans would have made the playoffs and we got DeAndre Hopkins again, he would get beat again. So that's what I was saying, that's the option. Humphrey is so cheap right now as a rookie contract that his value right now is out of the roof. And it's crazy. Brandon Carr, his value is lower, but if he plays all 16 games in the playoffs for much cheaper than Jimmy Smith, he has a higher value, especially if he plays the way he played at the beginning of the season. So that's all I was saying. And for the sentimental piece, we need to stop being sentimental, be more like Bill Belichick, and, you know, ship these players off early, and that's how you win championships. And that's the truth of the matter. Let's go to the comment of the day, and this comment comes from Makaba. And he says, thanks for the press briefs. I think we're done with the pyramid experiment. I truly hope so. So I'm commenting on both of them, Makaba. I'm happy you're enjoying the press briefings. I'm going to keep on bringing those to you. However, I'll condense those into one video. So if, for example, our three coaches, offense, defense, and the special teams coordinators, if they all have press conference on the same day, I believe it's Wednesday. So what I'm going to do is, instead of showing 3 separate videos, you're going to have one video with all 3 of them in there. It makes it easy for everybody, and it doesn't clutter up your feed. Second thing, I think if the pyramid experiment is done, if there's no way that you can watch the football games and think to yourself that Perriman should get more playing time than Chris Moore, and if Chris Moore gets more playing time, then you have 3 receivers in front of Perriman, and if Perriman is expecting a big contract next year or whatever, you can't get it because you can't even beat Chris Moore out for a job. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe to Ravens Space on YouTube for the best Baltimore Ravens content on the internet. I'm truly appreciative. I will be back tomorrow, I promise. Thank you guys so much, and go Ravens.